Hello everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces and welcome to my channel. Today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026, and this is Flosstube video number 79. I am back with my weekly update. However, it has been 2 weeks since the last time that I filmed. The last time that I filmed was March 11th, and the reason for that is because spring break happened. Hang on, a pop-up just popped up on my computer. Okay, hopefully no more pop-ups. So I need to pause this because I forgot something upstairs as usual. All right, so I think I have everything this time. Maybe not. We'll see. So as I was saying, spring break happened. I have not gotten to work on very much stuff, but I have had some progress. And then other projects I haven't touched at all. So I've just been sort of all over the place with any of my projects. And I was right. It was my youngest. We have been going everywhere and to the park and play dates, and I'm tired. I can't wait for the kids to go back to school next week because then I get a vacation. All right, so I'm going to kick right off into it. I don't have anything ordered. I'm not expecting anything. I will just start with project number 1. This is one that I have actually been able to put some work into it over the past couple of weeks. So I am working on Lavender and Lace, project 1. This is 14 count Aida that is either like Charles Craft or DMC, and the color, it's a gray color, but it's like a numerical color. So this is Lady of the Thread. This side? Oh, glare. Okay. Sorry, I'm down in the basement. It's it's because it's spring break. So here's the Lady of the Thread. And I recharted this in Floss Cross so that I would have an electronic copy. And during my rechart, I changed the color of her dress. So I have been working in this wreath area to get it to the point where it meets up with her dress. And then I jumped over here and I'm going to finish out the wreath area before I finish her. She's my reward for everything. So the last time you saw this, I was over on this side and I was in, I think, this yellow flower. So I finished out the yellow flower and the blue flowers and the ribbon that hangs down. And then, like I said, I jumped over to this side and started working on this white flower. So that has been my progress, and I can tell you my times for it. For the week of 3/9 through 3/15, I got to put in 4 hours, 54 minutes, and 55 seconds. And it brought my total time for the project to 63 hours, 29 minutes, and 58 seconds. And then for that week, I was able to put in a total of 857 stitches. And so for that week, it brought my total stitch count to 8,660 out of 17,306, and it was at 50.04%. So I finally hit 50% on it. Then for the week of 3/16 through 3/22, I only got to work on it 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 8 seconds, and that brought my total project time to 66 hours, 10 minutes, and 6 seconds. And I got to put in 435 stitches when I worked on it. So that had brought my total stitch count to 9,095 out of 17,306, and I'm at 52.55%. So I have got to work on it a little bit this week, just not very much. So I will continue continue hopefully working. The only reason that I think I've been able to touch this one is because I've been working on this one in the evening time. And generally, once her father gets home, she leaves me alone. Okay. All right. And then project 2 is the Dutch Beauty Sampler. And I am in this general area. So the last time you got to see it, I was working in this motif right here. And I think that I was working in the stem. So I finished out the flowers in the stem coming down. And then I finished the vase. And then I jumped up here and started working on whatever this little motif is up here. With the lighting is just not great. It's never great in my house. So this is 14 count Aida that I hand dyed myself in a Come Dye With Me video, and there should be a link in the description for that. So for this one, for the week of 3/9 through 3/15, I got to work 5 hours, 53 minutes, and 4 seconds. And it brought my total time on the project to 85 hours, 30 minutes, and 36 seconds. And for that week, I got to put in 1,358 stitches. And it brought my total stitch count to 16,645. And then for the week of 3/16 through 3/22, I didn't get to touch it. And for this week, 3/23 through 3/29, I still haven't gotten to touch it. So just a little bit of progress on that one. Okay, and then project 3. Project 3 is my chatelaine. This is the Misty Morning Vineyard. And this fabric is a 32 count fabric from Fiberliscious Yummy Fibers, and it is called Dreamweaver. And this is where I am. The last time you saw it, I don't think I had all of this part filled in. So I finished down here, and I've been working down here. I don't know if I finished that out yet. I think I did, and so I moved my hoop so that I can start working on this page. And I think I'm going to work on the peacock. So this one, I got to put in for the week of 3/9 through 3/15. I got to put in 5 hours, 54 minutes, and 1 second. And it's brought my total time for the project to 31 hours, 7 minutes, and 45 seconds. And then for the week of 3/16 through 3/22, I didn't get to touch it. And so far for this week, I haven't gotten to touch it. And then project 4. Is my Plaid Bucilla kit called 4 Seasons. And I am in this spring quadrant right up here. So I did have a little bit of an my water bottle spilled on my pattern and it wiped out some of my color. However, I was finished with that section, so it didn't impede me too awful much. And the other sections, there's some light staining, so I can use a different color highlighter when I get to those sections. However, I am almost finished with this section with the stitching. I just have a little bit more stitching to go to finish this end, and I have decided that I will go ahead and work on the back stitching before I move to the summer section. Now, fortunately for me, my piece is okay. It did not get any highlighter on it. So here is my progress from the last time that you got to see it. I'm still sort of doing a kind of parking method, so you do sort of see the colors. This is the 28 count fabric that came with the kit, but I hand dyed it myself. There was not a come dye with me video for this one. But anyway, here it is. I'm so close to finishing this section. Okay, so then this one I put in for the week of 3/9 through 3/15. I put in 3 hours, 32 minutes, and 2 seconds. And it brought my total stitch time to 28 hours, 19 minutes, and 45 seconds. Okay, so that is my regular stitching that you are all caught up on. Now, this past week was the 24th was yesterday, and I started a birthday start last month on the 24th, and I said that I would only work on it the 24th of each month and just work on that one thing each day, or each day on the 24th. So the next project that I worked on is this is Heaven and Earth Designs, and this is the Valentines 2024 freebie, and it's called Venus. And I'm working on this with color completion. So here is where I am now. I was working in the rows and bringing it down, and working in the rows and bringing it down. Now, I didn't get to work on it nearly as much time this time as I did the first time, but I still did get a lot in. So, on the 24th of February, when I worked on this, I got to put in 5 hours, 23 minutes, and 47 seconds. Yesterday, when I worked on this, I got to put in 4 hours, 30 minutes, and 24 seconds. So now my stitch count is at 2,156 out of a 154,000, and I'm at 1.40%. So there were 7,000 stitches of this color, and I'm now down, like I've got 6,000 more. So I am plugging along on this just one day a month. All right, now for my temperature stitching. I did not get to work on my temperature stitching. The only thing that I think I got to work on was last week was the crocheted baby blanket. That's a teddy bear, not that you can see right now, but it's a fillet crochet of a teddy bear. So the last time that you saw it, I had done my base row. Then I had started doing the second row, and then I went back through to count it, and I had way too many stitches. So I had to rip them all out, and it was basically where you saw it again. So this time I am almost complete with row 3. And then I get to start following the pattern for the fillet crochet. So all this part where it's gray is the solid purple, And then where the white is going to be where the holes are. So I'm almost done with row 3 and then get to start row 4 and following that pattern. But this is the only one that I've worked on of my projects. Now, with that being said, there were 2 days that my youngest looked at me and went, "Hey Mom, let's cross stitch together." Now, knowing how she is, knowing that she has the temperature span of a goldfish, I sat down with her and I picked up one of my printed cross stitch kits, because those are like I want to call them like my no think pieces, or like my no brainer pieces. Like I don't have to look at the pattern and be like, okay, where am I? How many more stitches do I have to count? Etc. When I look at these, it's very easy to physically see where I'm at in the pattern. And so knowing that she's only good for like 20 minutes at a time, she actually walked over to my cart and just grabbed this bag without even knowing what was in it. So this is one that you actually haven't seen, and this is not one that's one of my temperature stitches, but here's the picture of it. This is what it's gonna look like when it's finished, sort of. And when I had picked it up, I only had one full block and then like half of a block in the next one. So because it's boring background, I did this color here, worked on it for a thread. Then I jumped over to the next background symbol, worked on that for a thread. Then I jumped over to the third background symbol, worked on that for a full length of thread. Then I jumped back over here, worked on that for a full length of thread. So that's what I did the few times that I was able to pick this up. That gives me this little bit up here, this over here, and this. So I'm actually almost done with, no, I've got a few more stitches of this second background color, which is almost identical to this first background color. I just have like 5 or 6 more stitches of that one, and then I'm sort of done with that color for this row. And then so when I finish that, I'll move on to the next background color, so that the background will be getting done, but it's not taking forever. And then I'm just putting in a length of each color until I get across. It will finally be fun when I get over here and start, filling in some of the colors of this flower, because that is in the first row. But it's pretty big size canvas. This is almost about the same size as her Lilo and Stitch one that I got for her that she was working on. And I had started her at the top, and, it was all background stuff. And then so she had jumped like over to this side to put in some background over here. And then so when we picked it up this week, she's like, "Mommy, can I do some down here in the bottom?" And I was like, "Sure." It's still background, but it's in a different color than what your background at the top was. So she put in like a thread of that color, and she's like, "Can I pick a different color now?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you know what? That was like a really big thread. So I was like, "Why don't you pick a color in either Lilo or Stitch? And then you can do that color until it runs out, or until the area that you're working in is finished, and then you can go back to doing a background color." I was like, you can reward yourself after, every little bit, because on this, you can see where you're at. You won't get lost. So she liked that idea. She just hasn't worked on it very much. like I said, she never wants to do hers. And when she does, she gets really excited. She's like, oh, I want to put mine into the fair just like you do. And I'm like, okay, but you have to finish it first. That's where she gets hung up, is the finishing it first. Okay, so that is it for all of the projects that I have worked on. Now, because next week I will be starting my April projects. April 1st is next Wednesday, so which is my filming day. So I maybe next week will just be like, here's where I ended for all of my March projects, because I don't think I will have gotten the chance to touch any of my April projects, because I'm pretty certain April 1st is on Wednesday. So let me show you what I'm moving to. So for project 1, my favorite designer project, I will be moving back to Teresa Wensler's Woodland Fairy. And I'm actually like really excited to get back into this, because one of the Flosstubers that I watched, the Huga Stitcher, she just recently got this pattern and she was really excited to want to kit it up and maybe start it sometime soon. So like that was really exciting when I saw the video. But this is the Woodland Fairy by Teresa Wensler. And let's see. Okay. So this is my entire piece of fabric. I'm a middle out stitcher, so I did start this in the middle. This is on page 2 for the top row. And so I'm working on this. I am actually just about up into this border section at the top of the piece. So I think like I was going to start it last time and I couldn't because I didn't have one of the colors, and I did get that. So I'll probably, do like a color of background, or I shouldn't say a color, a strand of background, and then I'll probably jump to a strand of her wings, and then I'll probably jump to a strand at the border, and just keep doing that until I get this page finished. Close enough. As I say, I know that I'm so, I mean, I still have a fair bit, but I'm also doing pretty good. So I can't wait to get back into this one. And then project 2 is either a black work or a sampler. This month it is a sampler. For next month it'll be a black work. I'm working on the Orchid Black Work pattern by Loose Thread Stitchery. And can you even see that? Here's where I am. Okay, hopefully you can at least see that. I won't know until I watch it back in replay. All right, so that is project 2. Project 3 is Heaven and Earth Designs, Faye Risque, no background version. And I am doing a blue conversion on it. This is my own conversion. This one I started back in 2024 when I was first starting my channel. So here's where I am. Hopefully I'm close enough to a page finish. I can't really remember without looking at the pattern. But I can't wait to get back on that one. It's been a long time. It's been 4 months since last time I touched it. And then project 4 is Dimensions Dolphin's Domain. And here is where I will be starting out on it. All right. So that's it. That is my weekly update. And I should see everyone next week. Again, I'm not sure how next week is going to be, since I'm pretty sure that April 1st is that first day. So I don't think I will have anything touched, but next week might just be, this is where all of February's project, or February, this is where all of March's projects end. So that's my update. I will see everyone next week. So bye for now.